everyone, and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now, many times people are really busy with work and loads of commitments, and they forget to have some fun or even celebrate their achievements or life in general. So on tonight's show, we're going to help you plan your perfect celebration. Now, to assist us, we have Party Planner Joe Blackman from Green Ant Events, which is one of the UK's leading event and party planners, who's planned parties for the likes of Vogue, and he's going to be giving us some fabulous tips tonight. And what's a party without good food? We have Italian chef Isabella Franco, who'll be making some quick and easy party food in the studio later on. And finally, for a fab party, you definitely need great entertainment. So to give you another party idea, we have a very talented singer-songwriter, Shirin, who'll be performing her party song for us later on in the show. So I'm really looking forward to tonight's program. But first of all, we have the news with the lovely Bianca. Hello.
Hello, Chris.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Bright and lovely again.
Oh, thank you.
You're in a party mood, aren't you?
I am. That's why I wore my party dress.
Any nice celebrations you've been to? Any nice big events and stuff? Well, apart from Wembley.
Oh yeah,
over the weekend.
Wembley. That was amazing. There, yeah. I love events like that because the atmosphere. Because there was like 12,000 people there, weren't there? Yeah. So the atmosphere. I just remember looking out into the crowd and seeing all those people. Yeah. And the other one that I really liked was my 21st birthday. Yeah. And that was a few years ago. And I had all my friends.
Yeah, we actually.
I had all my friends there and my family, and like it's just so nice when you got all the people around you that you really love, and it was just like such a nice atmosphere.
Oh, I remember we used to have quite a few celebrations at home.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we weren't even celebrating anything in particular, but because my dad was like a drummer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And a few of my uncles singers, and like so we used to like get this big amplifier out, and like they used to like. I feel so sorry for the neighbours because we used to like really. You should
have invited them.
A few did come actually, but no one ever complained. But it was like we used to have all the windows open. We used to go out into the street, you know, because like our family was a bit crazy then.
Quite often.
Yeah, we used to have them quite often because when everyone got together, it was like because everyone's sort of musical in one sense or another. So everyone used to play the instruments, the guitar, everything. And we'd just be there like.
I love parties. Any excuse for a party for me, I love it. Fun. And like especially when it's because my granddad said to me once that he said, "What's life all about if you don't celebrate and enjoy?"
Exactly. I think people forget that. They're sort of working so hard and they're doing so much, and they forget. Well, actually, why don't you celebrate? Even if it doesn't have to be a massive deal, just a little celebration with the family or something, just to celebrate that thing, that achievement that you've just made, because it makes it more worthwhile. Then you have to have a bit of fun in life.
Very true.
Not get stressed.
Exactly, just enjoy it, smile. I've got some celebration disaster stories to tell you. It's not always fun. Sometimes they do. They're the funny
on the whole thing.
But the disaster ones are always the funny ones, so I like to go for those. And I also got some messages from our viewers as well that I'm going to read out later on as well. Right. But first of all, so this week at a wedding in Wiltshire, an owl which should have delivered rings to a couple at the altar of their wedding inside flew up into the top of the church roof and fell asleep for a whole hour. So the owl was supposed to deliver these rings, and they had to stop the whole wedding ceremony.
That's asking for trouble, isn't it? Like getting an owl that, you know.
They decided to fall asleep. So they had to stop the ceremony trying to get the owl down. You can imagine the chaos. Oh, come on, like chucking things. And then it still had the red ribbons attached to its feet as well. And after an hour waiting, they decided to continue with a set of backup wedding rings. I don't know why they did.
Oh, at least they had a backup.
That was lucky, wasn't it?
Expecting something to go wrong.
Yeah, otherwise, what would they have done? Yeah. Got some hula hoop rings or something. And then
I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that before.
Dog or something like that, but not an owl that can just fly off.
They should get something that stays grounded like a dog. And so this is a New Year's Eve party that went a bit wrong. So a lady called Eleanor said, "A bunch of my friends and I went to the rooftop bar of a hotel. About half an hour before midnight, I ran down to the car because I had forgotten my camera. I figured I would have plenty of time to get back up there and find my friends. I grabbed my camera and got into the lift all by myself. Halfway up, the lift got stuck and it started shaking. Oh, no. And she said I was trapped, and a guy came on over the loudspeaker and told me that there was an electrical shortage and that he would have me out as soon as possible. A few minutes later, she said I could hear people outside counting down and celebrating, and she'd missed New Year's.
Oh no, she couldn't by herself in the lift.
Awful, isn't it? Oh, and then she says, I didn't even get out until almost 1 a.m, and the worst part was my friends didn't even miss me. That's horrible, isn't it?
Friends, make some new friends.
Exactly. Some people are just out for themselves, aren't they? It's horrible. Poor thing.
Aww.
And there was a dinner party, it went a bit wrong. It was a friend that invited her other friend round for some pizzas, and she realised she was making some homemade pizza, I think. She realised that she had a shortage on flour, but decided to make them anyway. The dough ended up being too wet and the pizza completely stuck to the pan. And she said they spent the majority of their dinner scraping pieces of pizza from the pan. And she said...
Isabella's going to show us how not to do that today.
Exactly.
She's going to get it right. I don't want to scare our viewers. We're supposed to be encouraging them to do these celebrations. And you're here with all the disaster stories.
Well, this is what we're not going to do. And then she had a second attempt. She had a second pizza and let it warm and rise in the oven a bit. And after that, she totally forgot about the pizza, and that one burnt to a crisp. So it was 2 pizzas that went wrong that evening. She said in the end, we ended up eating a lot of salad and fruit, and we certainly had a good laugh at the whole thing. So it's good, isn't it? Sometimes when things are going wrong, you have to just laugh at it, don't you?
I know,
just sort of
like, sort of getting all depressed and everything. You don't want to spoil the whole thing, do you?
Yeah, because you could have maybe tried to cover it up or like try to sort of like carry on. But you've just got to laugh. The pizza's burnt, just laugh at it. But I don't know why she didn't just like order a takeaway or something. Do you know what I mean?
You're that bad.
If that happens to me, I'll probably just order like a pizza or something. Actually, Chris, last night I made pizza. I made pizza. I put it in the oven because I was like, I got home quite late from work and I just couldn't be bothered to cook. And it was like a quick pizza that you could cook, and I hadn't read the packet, and normally it's about 18-20 minutes to cook a pizza, and I left it in for 20 minutes. I took it out and it was like completely black. I was like, so I'm just as bad as the girl. But luckily there was no friends coming over, it was just me and my brother.
You know, a quick way, so it's got nothing to do with anything, but anyway, let's tell you how to make a really simple pizza.
Yeah.
I saw it's on TV, just naan bread. If you just get a little naan bread, just keep them in the cupboard like for emergencies. Naan bread, just put the toppings on top. It's really nice.
Oh really? Is it nice?
Yeah.
Because you get like different flavour naan breads as well, can't you? Like you can get the garlic naan, that would be nice. Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea, Chris. So this one is really funny as well. Another New Year's Eve one. It's something that's sort of like I could see myself doing. She says, I live with my sister and she went out of town for over New Year's. She said, I'd been dying to borrow this new silver dress that she recently bought. This is like probably a story for a lot of women out there, or a lot of girls, but she wouldn't lend it me, so sibling rivalry. She hadn't worn it yet and she spent lots of money on it. She said, I decided to sneak the dress out of her closet to wear it to the party. She thought, I figured I would just be careful and she would never know, so she decided to take it to the party and thought no one would ever find out. And then she said she got there and everyone...
She heard of Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
And Twitter and stuff,
yeah,
no one's
exactly.
going to find out.
And she got there and she said everybody was complimenting her on how lovely the dress was and how pretty it looked on her, and she was taking all the compliments. And she said just before New Year's, someone came along to sort of give her a kiss on the cheek, Happy New Year, and he spilt his cranberry juice all over the dress. Yeah,
that's what happened.
So she said she tried to get it out as much as she could, and she said she spent the rest of the whole night trying to get it out and just panicking that she's going to have to speak to her sister. She said she eventually spoke to her sister and she said she gave her a right bollocking about it. Really told her off.
Well, I should think so too.
I know, it's something that I can see myself doing. But me and my sister, we do share a lot of clothes. Yeah, now we've got to the age where like we sort of like I'll let her lend my clothes and she'll lend me hers. Like
I don't really understand sisters that don't lend each other stuff. I think it's really weird.
Yes.
Because me and my sister are so like, well, obviously we don't live together now, but when we did, we used to share everything.
That's good. Unless you're clumsy.
Actually, my mum used to dress us exactly the same, even though there's 3 years difference between us. Everything she used to dress us. We've got so many photos, it's so funny. We just look exactly the same, just like she's just a bigger version of me.
You can see why though, because it's easier, isn't it? You just go to the shop and buy two.
I suppose she didn't want to show like any favoritism as well. Make sure, you know, we're both like... Yeah, she loves us the same because we used to wear exactly the same clothes and stuff. Yeah, but I think, you know,
it's easier that way, isn't it?
You know, lend each other things. You know.
Have I got a couple of minutes left?
Yeah, go on.
All right, so this one's quite funny as well. It's a birthday story. And she said, so it was her 30th birthday, a big one. She decided to have some of her friends join her for a few drinks at a local bar that they usually go to. She said she doesn't use Facebook or Twitter, and you're probably going to know what's coming next. But she said one of her best friends does, and apparently her friend's got like billions of followers and friends all over Facebook and Twitter. So her friend said, no, leave it to me, I'll plan the party. So she put like an event on Facebook and put it all over Twitter and said like, we're having, and made it into a huge thing and said everyone's invited, bring your friends, bring as many as possible. And she said there's going to be like loads of free like drinks when they get there. So
of course you're going to get loads of people turning up and say free
I know,
drink.
what a silly thing to do. And then so they turned up to the event, and she said the girls whose birthday it was, she said she couldn't even hardly get in. She was just about got herself into the bar because it was so packed full of like hundreds of people, and she wanted like a sort of like quiet sort of a drink with her like people that are close to her. She got there and there were hundreds of people she didn't know, but
who didn't even say happy birthday to her, probably, because they don't know who she is.
They didn't even know her. And she said that she eventually left because she was like, she couldn't handle the crowds of people. No one knew her anyway. She said that her friend was having like the best time ever. Because
who was paying for all the drinks?
I don't know, but
hopefully it wasn't her.
I know, I hope not. But the friend was like having a ball because it was all her friends. That's selfish, isn't it? That's not nice.
That's another friend to get rid of, I think.
The
ones that forget about you on New Year's Eve don't even realise that you're missing.
Yeah, and the one
that just plans a party for herself on your birthday. Get rid of them, get some new friends, for goodness sake, right?
It's awful, isn't it? And then we got some more ones where there was one where there was
last one. Then they're telling me last one.
Can I do the comments then? The Facebook comments.
Go on then.
All right. So I asked our viewers if you could have any party at all with an unlimited budget, what would you plan and where would you be? So Jamie says I would have a good old-fashioned kids' birthday party with a bouncy castle, jelly and ice cream, games on a beach in Miami. And AJ, this is interesting, Chris, says I'd wait until this is the most shocking one I've ever heard. I'd wait until the countdown of New Year's in a club in London, then I'd get in a helicopter and fly to a time zone where New Year's hasn't been celebrated yet and celebrate again. Have you heard anything like it? Yeah, it's very original. Very creative.
Well, we've run out of time. Thank you so much, Bianca.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, afterwards, after the break, we're going to have Isabella Franco joining us to put together some lovely, delicious party food. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happiest side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happiest side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Planning Your Perfect Celebration, and I'm now here with Italian chef Isabella Franco. Hello, Isabella.
Hi, lovely to be here.
It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
So you're Italian background.
That's
right.
right.
How important was that? How influential was that in your cooking today?
Well, I think like most Italians, food is the centre of absolutely everything.
Yeah,
so whether it's celebrations or whether it's just your, usual lunchtime, the lunch is going to last 3 hours. There's going to be singing, dancing, and everything is going to be fantastic.
Do you have loads of parties before?
Loads of parties, even just impromptu ones where the whole family come over. So maybe 30 or 40 of us all around a table, all sort of chipping in with.
So you have to make sure you had loads in your cupboard already.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you have to have the staples there. But so that's always been a really big part of my life, and that's just grown more and more as I've got older and done more practice.
Lovely. So you're going to help our viewers tonight on what to prepare. Maybe someone's a little bit nervous about doing their party. Maybe it's the first one that they're hosting and they're not quite sure sort of how much to make or how to do it quickly. So you're going to help us out tonight.
That's right. I think with it being a party, you want everyone to enjoy themselves and you don't want to be stressing yourself out a couple of hours before. So I've created some really, really simple, foolproof dishes that will be really tasty.
So let's take it away.
Let's go. So the first thing I'm going to make is some mini saltimbocca. So saltimbocca is Italian for jumps in your mouth. So it's something that's really tasty and vivid. Instead of using veal, these are sort of a party version. So I've got a nice thin baguette here. I've just cut that on the diagonal. And I'm going to just butter each piece lightly on the top. Okay, so once you've done all of those, what you're going to do is to spread on some lovely fig chutney. This is one I've made myself, but it's really seasonal, so fig's perfect at this time of year, and you can just buy it in the shop if you're pushed for time, which I know lots of people are.
I love figs.
So you're going to put a nice layer of the fig chutney on the side that doesn't have the butter.
That doesn't have the butter?
That doesn't have the butter, and then on top of that, you get some nice prosciutto. And if you can't find this, even though it's in most supermarkets, or if you're on a
It's
budget,
quite common to find, isn't
you
it?
could, you could replace it with ham if you wanted to, but just
It's not the same,
nice.
is it? Though?
No, it's not quite the same. Nice, generous
Ham's
amount.
not really party food.
No, and prosciutto just goes really well with the fig as well. I think it's a really good flavour combination. And then I've got some little bocconcini, which are like the little tiny balls of mozzarella.
Nice.
And I'm going to put a couple of those on top. And then we're going to complete the sandwich with the butter side up of the other piece.
Oh, it's actually, okay.
Butter side up,
Yeah.
and you'll see why in a moment. So you press that together. Nice little bit of sage, which is obviously what saltimbocca is usually made of.
Yeah.
Give it a nice press down, and then you're just going to heat that really gently in a pan of olive oil. Just a tiny bit of oil, maybe a little bit of butter, and just turn it over when it's about halfway through, so about 6 minutes on each side, and it will go lovely and gooey in the middle, and then you'll get the nice crunchiness of the fig and the really
And that was super
tasty
quick to make.
prosciutto. And it's super quick. Everyone will absolutely love these, I promise you. So I'm going to carry on making those.
Okay.
While you're waiting for those to cook though, if you have a sweet tooth like I do, there's something really quick you can do. So I'm going to show you how to
Of course, we have to have desserts, don't we, at parties?
Oh, absolutely.
Can't do without that.
You can't have a dinner without a dessert. So this one is a cherry chocolate pot. And it's so simple. It doesn't involve any cooking, which is great if you want to get the children involved maybe in all this excitement of the party. I'm just going to pop some double cream in a bowl and whisk
a naughty
that.
dessert, this one.
Slightly naughty, but some of the other things we're going to make are really healthy. So you've got to have a bit of naughtiness at a party, I think.
Okay, now we're going to make a bit of noise now.
Yeah, we're going to make a bit of noise just whisking this up, not for very long.
Okay. So when did you know you wanted to become a chef?
I think I always knew from quite a young age because I used to help out my mum in the kitchen every Sunday making the gnocchi, etc. But it was really once I finished university and I started to really get into making my own recipes up, and I started my own YouTube channel, and it really grew from there.
You got a lot of interest on YouTube.
Yeah, I did. I was contacted by a production company who then asked me to do a show, and it really snowballed from there. And I just think TV is a great way to reach lots of people and try and teach people about wonderful food, which is really important.
How can people get you to your show? How can they watch it?
You can go onto my website, which is just isabellafranco.co.uk, and you'll find lots of really good recipes and lots of good tips and tricks for the kitchen.
Okay. So how long do you have to whisk this for?
You want it to form soft heat, so you want to whisk it for about 2 to 3 minutes if you've got double cream.
All right then. Okay. So what are you going to add to this? You're going to add the cherries and the
So we're going to add some crushed up meringue, which will go sort of slightly gooey in the cream. And we're going to layer that with some cherry compote and some lovely melted chocolate. So you almost get a kind of Black Forest gâteau taste to it. And people seem to always think that this is way more complicated than it is when you try it. It's always nice.
Are you going to make one more thing for us, aren't you?
I am. I'm also going to make something which is really good for any vegetarian guests you might have. So a nice walnut and red pepper dip.
Okay.
Obviously very healthy as well to counteract all this cream.
Shall I carry on doing that and then you can start on the other one?
Yeah.
Shall we swap? Okay. You go around this side.
Okay, I might start preparing the glasses today.
Okay.
So I've got some disposable cups.
Can't say I didn't help.
You don't have to do any washing up, which is always good. And I've got my cherry compote, which you can buy just in the supermarket, or even in a tin. And we're going to start just placing some of this in the bottom of the glasses.
And they obviously have the pips out, do they? The cherries,
yeah, they're all ready to go. So minimum preparation involved in this, which is great.
This is just taking longer because they're doing it on TV. This screen just doesn't want to thicken, does it?
It's true. It took about 2 minutes at home, I promise. Okay, so you've got your lovely layer of fruit there. How's that coming along? Is it starting to thicken?
A little bit, I think. Am I doing it wrong?
No, that's perfect. Excellent whipping skills. writing my first cookery book.
Oh, wow.
Very time consuming, but it's really
Yeah.
good to kind of get back to my roots and talk
Okay.
to my grandparents about their favourite recipes.
Oh, so you put it all in the book.
Yeah, I want to get my
lovely.
nonna's famous pasta recipes in and just make it a really nice, memorable experience.
Oh, lovely.
So, looking forward to that.
When's that out?
That will be out early next year, so
Okay.
keep an eye out.
Wonderful.
Okay, that looks
Right,
like
is that
it's
good?
thickening up a little bit now, which is good. So with the meringues, you can just pop them into a bag like this and either just bash them against the table, or you can scrunch them up, or just use a rolling pin. Anything just to get them into rough pieces.
Is that okay now?
A tiny bit more.
Thicken.
Yeah, that's it. It's definitely coming along now, isn't it?
We're getting there, people.
That will be great, I think.
Yeah?
Perfect, thank you.
Okie dokie.
Okay, that took longer than expected, but you can see it's nice stiff peaks now. So I'm just going to pour in my meringue mixture. And give that a quick stir.
That looks yummy already, and it's not even
I
finished
know,
yet, isn't
it's
it?
just kind of that eaten mess idea of the fruits
Yeah.
and the lovely meringue. And when it soaks in a bit of the cream, it will be quite nice and gooey as well.
This looks so naughty.
It is a little bit naughty, but got to be naughty once in a
Yeah.
while. So that's basically it. We're just going to layer up this into our cups. And then at the last minute, just when you're about to serve it, you want to pour some nice melted chocolate over the top.
Okay.
And then you've got yourself a lovely,
And again, very
tasty
simple that you can
treat.
get the kids involved
Exactly.
in.
No
They'd love to.
cooking, no sharp instruments, just
No.
getting stuck in really, which is perfect.
Now, for the benefit of the viewers that couldn't actually hear what we were saying when the whisk was on, tell us again about your cookery book, because they couldn't hear us very well before.
So I've just started writing a book which is going to be based on Southern Italian cooking, which is sort of my area. I'm from Positano on the Amalfi Coast, and that involves sort of very rich flavours, lots of tomato, lots of lemons in the puddings, and it's really just getting all the family involved, asking my nonna, my grandparents, all their favourite recipes.
Do you do the recipes as your family do them, or do you sort of add your own twist?
It's really difficult because obviously not being in Italy, the ingredients never taste quite the same. But in England, we're lucky to have some really good local produce. So what I try and do is to come up with an Italian idea and then try and replace it with some local ingredients. I think it's really important to support local producers. So, for example, I recently did an ice cream, the obvious Italian choice, but made it blue Vinny flavour, which is a local cheese, and it turned out absolutely brilliant. If you like blue cheese, it's a really good one to do. Okay, so we're going to leave those, and then we'll melt some chocolate over just before, you have a chance to try it. So
now, Isabella, we've got a couple of minutes left to the break. Should we do you want to start the last thing that you're going to do? And then we can maybe finish off. I don't know what to do with this now. Let's put this over here.
So as I said, we want something for vegetarians and also something a bit healthier. So I'm going to make a dip that you can either serve just with some nice crudités like carrots and celery and things, or you can just spread on some blinis, which always look quite elegant on a platter. So what you need for this is you'll need some chopped walnuts, or just roughly chopped. I'm going to pop them in there. You're going to pop into there a clove of garlic and just a squeeze. Would you be able to squeeze in some tomato puree?
How much do you want? I might get a bit messy with this.
Or just about a teaspoonful, so not too much.
I kind of started before I asked you.
That's fine. You can never go wrong with tomato. And then if you want to
Let's put this
pop
over here.
in those roasted peppers there.
Roasted peppers.
Now you can either buy these ready done if you're in a real hurry, or just put the peppers whole in the oven, leave them for about 10 to 15 minutes.
They smell lovely.
They go lovely, soft and fragrant. They're delicious, aren't they? So you use any colour pepper, it doesn't have to be red. So we've got a clove of garlic here, and I'm going to put it in my garlic press. Okay, if you're worried about having garlicky fingers in time for your party, then there is a cheats version. You can buy the sort of ready-made garlic in the blocks. Yeah, so you can get that in the frozen section of the supermarket.
It's quite handy, isn't it?
It's good. Yeah, it's good for, and also it lasts such a long time.
But they're really hard to take up if you don't want to use the whole one. I always sort of lose half of it when I try and chop it.
Yeah, exactly. So they're in sort of perfect portions already. Okay, you want to add Little squeeze of lemon juice.
It smells so nice. That combination.
And we're going to use a little bit of smoked paprika. Save a little bit of this to decorate it with afterwards. Some cumin, again about a teaspoonful. And obviously a little bit of salt and pepper. And just to loosen it up a little bit so that it blends a little bit better.
Of olive oil, okay.
I'm going to put about 6 tablespoons of olive oil.
So Isabella, we need to go to a break now. We're going to let you blend that all up for us and then we'll have a taste of it afterwards.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Then after the break, we are going to be meeting Joe, who's a party planner, and he's going to be telling us how to plan the perfect celebration as well.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and we're now going to speak to Joe Blackman, who's an events planner. Hello, Joe.
Hi, how are you doing?
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Now, obviously, Bianca was talking earlier about disasters, so you're here to help us not to make any not to have any disasters in our planning. So, tell us first of all, how did you get into this in the first place?
Well, easy story really. I've done events ever since I was about 14 or 15, and started off.
14?
Yeah, I think so. I was kind of wheeled into working at a festival, sort of selling. I think it was freshly cut watermelons at a festival, and then randomly by the time I was 18, I was in charge of the festival. So, and then moved into, when I was 19, went to uni, did a degree in stage management, left halfway through because I got offered a job with the Olympics Committee.
Oh, nice.
Moved out to the Middle East. Yeah, then moved back 6 months later, and then I think I worked for another company for about 4 weeks, and then decided I wasn't going to ever work for anyone again, and several years on, here we are, still going. So
your company's doing really well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So tell us some of the sort of most memorable events that you've organised.
Oh, wow. One of the first events was a few years back, and I remember a big private party that I did, and it was in the Algarve, and I did a massive big Moroccan-themed private party. Wow. It was about £200,000-300,000 budget, and we flew over.
But you love having budgets like
that.
Yeah, it's not. Wow, I can just go to town now.
Yeah, we're kind of lucky because luckily we get some pretty good parties to organise.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was fantastic. We had sort of 5-piece Moroccan band, 5-piece normal band. Wow. 10 fire dancers, belly dancers, flame performers, and yeah, it was fantastic. So yeah, quite lucky really, get to organise parties for a living. That's not a bad job really.
Nice. So for the average Joe, say they want to organise maybe a nice sort of family themed party, or maybe something on a bit of a bigger scale, what's the first thing someone should think about doing?
Well, definitely, if they've got kids, rope the kids in, because you don't want to let them enjoy all the party and you just be So I definitely say try and get as much help as you can. Depends what the party's for, really. You've got to think about your audience. So if you're sort of, let's say it's a 30th or a 40th and you're having people of those age, think about kind of what your guests will enjoy. Really important is most important things of the party, especially if you're doing it at home, is make sure you try and do as much preparation beforehand and try and think about, the worst thing is having a party at home and then finding out you've got to do all the cleaning up the next day. So try and be sensible about that. But then also,
but what
theming.
Can you plan now? What is it that you can plan beforehand to make sure things
first off, think about, dressing out the house. And there's loads of really sort of cheap and easy ways of doing that just by putting a bit of creativity into it, going to a local fabric shop, draping out a room, putting a Moroccan tent, putting a little bit of red coloured lighting in there, and, you kind of got a little Moroccan Bedouin tent in your small bedroom. So, you can do lots of different things,
Okay, and what about in terms of do you organise food and stuff as well? Or?
Yeah, in fact, I was gonna say I think the first invite on my list was going to be Isabella for my Christmas party.
She's still busy over here. Isabella.
Fantastic food she's preparing.
Yeah.
Kind of depends.
Okay, and what about in terms of music and things like that? What kind of stuff
Well,
would you
I mean,
suggest?
I think in terms of music, I mean, it kind of depends really. I mean, if you're doing something, it depends if you're doing something at home or if you're doing something in a venue. If you're doing something at home, again, you know, a DJ is always a good thing to get in, you know, or get, you know, as I say, someone else you know to DJ. If you're doing it in a venue, I mean, you know, there's so many different things we've got in for parties. I mean, I did a party the other week where, you know, we had, you know, band, DJ, we had lots of walk around magicians, we had sort of, you can really go to town on it, but again, it all depends kind of on
how long does it actually take you to plan like one of the bigger parties?
Wow, we did a really big party that was a few weeks back that it was about a year and a half in the planning. So,
like
but I mean, you know, when you've got such big events, and especially when you're kind of putting up big marquees, you know, you've got, you know, all the infrastructure that has to go in, and it can be sort of 2.5 weeks just to kind of actually build a party. You know, so you've obviously got to put in all the sort of marquees, you've then got to dress it all out, then you've got all your technical infrastructure such as lighting and things, and then you've got the day itself. So you know, it could be a massive culmination. And I mean, actually, one of the most exciting things of planning a party for us is the kind of creative side. I mean, I'm quite lucky now because I've got a kind of creative team who kind of work with me to kind of do all of the sort of, you know, do mood boards and creative concepts and things like that. But I remember when I first started out from my mum's bedroom back in Wales several years ago, and I had to self-teach myself sort of web design and marketing to sort of set up my own business because I didn't
See
really
that
have
determination?
any investment.
So young, but you're still determined to do something.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I would say actually to everyone at home is, you know, like I started my business, I didn't have any money to start my business, and I started it from pretty much my mum's bedroom in Wales. I self-taught myself accountancy, web design, marketing, everything that you need to start a business really. And then just went from there. You know, we started getting in business, opened my first office actually, which was in Cardiff, and then got busier and busier, opened the office in Notting Hill, and now we're technically one of the biggest private events organisers in Europe.
That's fantastic, because you know, sometimes you hear sort of young people saying, oh, you know, there's nothing to do, that's why I get into crime. There's loads you can do. I'm sorry, I think that's just an excuse.
And, you know,
you're not trying to use your brain to do something.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as long as you put the kind of, you know, the effort in, and actually, you know, it's not actually that difficult. There's still a lot of support around for people. I mean, nobody's going to hand you out money to start a business these days. I mean, that, you know, the times.
But sometimes that's what people are expecting. And they say, oh, I can't do my own business. I can't start this. I'm no good because I don't have anyone to help me. I don't have any money. But like I said, you started with nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, as I say, I won a Director of the Year, which was presented by Alan Sugar about 2 years ago. And I remember one of the things he said to me was, you know, you started a business from nothing. That's exactly how I did. You don't need money to start a business. You know, you need enterprise. And, you know, I kind of think back to some of the things I did when I was little. I think, you know, I started selling a little bit of artwork that I was making in the scenic workshops.
It was always there, wasn't it?
University. And I think back earlier, and I kind of think back to me standing outside the street at my mum's house, kind of selling little Christmas cards, you know, outside the front gate. So, you know, but you know, anything to be enterprising. But yeah, unfortunately.
But even if the person says at home that I'm not like that, I wasn't like this as a kid or anything. But these are things that you can learn and you can pick up and you can research. Don't just think that you can't do it. You can do it.
No, they're automatic. You know, they're not automatic. You know, sort of things. You know, I mean, you can learn how to do a lot of these things. You know, the thing is just the determination and believing in yourself. And you know, I mean, especially if you're kind of, I mean, you can start a business of any age, but you know, I mean, I did when I was younger. You know, it's kind of an easy time. I say it's easy time. You know, you've got less commitments, I guess.
You still look really young.
Yeah, well, yeah, 29, so not too bad. Okay. So
you're doing really well. So tell us, you've done a few celebrity things, haven't you, as well? Can you tell us about a few of those?
Yeah, I mean, we did. I mean, as I say, part of my job, unfortunately, you can never give too much specifics away.
What you can talk about.
Yeah. But we did a big party for an Arabian royal. And that was overseas, and we pretty much.
So you had a big budget for that.
Yeah, and we flew everything over, pretty much diplomatic sort of post overseas, and dressed out a massive palace, and that was pretty spectacular. I mean, some of the recent ones we've done that I can talk about, they're in the media. We did Theo Walcott's wedding out in Italy, which was really cool.
What was that? How long did that take to plan?
Yeah, well, that again was probably about a year in the planning, and that was out in the sort of magazines and things. If you want to Google some pictures, but there's you know, there's.
So was he happy with everything?
Yeah. Well, we still get footballers, as I say, we tend to do quite a bit of stuff with the footballers. So, But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you know, there's, you know, we tend to deal with a lot of people who, you know, haven't got so much time and, you know, would love to be able to plan. I mean, that's the luxury, you know. I'm actually planning my own Christmas party at the moment.
Oh, are you? What are you planning to do?
Well, this is a funny thing. I started the wrong way because I've automatically started in a typical events organiser way by sending out an electronic survey to all of my friends saying which dates are you available for the party. So I kind of got emails back saying that's a typical Joe thing to do. But I don't know yet.
You
actually.
decide.
I think I'm definitely inviting Isabella to come and do the food. That's a given now. I don't know. I think I'm going to do something relatively traditional. Maybe, you know, get a load of carol singers in, do something a bit more. You know, maybe bribe some kids down the street.
Do you do your own stuff for yourself, like often, or are you too busy organising stuff for other people?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think actually, ironically, as an events planner, like my job is meticulously, you know, my job is organising things for a living. So, you know, that's all that I do. But actually, when it comes to your own things, actually, I'm generally last year, I threw together a Christmas party in sort of a few days. And, you know, I think I tend to probably be the most disorganised person in my own personal life. But yeah, so...
Right. So maybe, Joe, just before we go to a break, your top tips, say, on things not to do and things to definitely do.
Okay, top tips not to do. As I say, don't...
Oh, the other way around, whatever's easier to talk about. Not
to do... don't leave lots of work for the next day, because if you're having a party, the last thing you want to do is, you know, had a couple of drinks, you know, be spending the next day clearing up. So, you know, pre-prepare as much as you can and keep it as simple as you can. Try and rope people in and clear up as you go, because that's the worst thing. You know, you wake up and you've got, you know, a house full of everything to contend with the next day when all you want is a bacon sandwich. Exactly. So top tips, things to do, I would probably say... well, I guess plan it in advance, you know, think about it and make sure actually the smallest things from actually when you're planning a party, like invitations, save the dates, put a little bit of effort into them. It doesn't take that much to create something nice, but, you know, something that people put up in their fridge in their house, you know, it's, I don't know, they're kind of nice little bits, and then continue a theme through from the first invite, you know, through to, and also make sure you invite kind of enough people. So the worst thing is when you kind of, you know, people assume when they organise a party for themselves that sort of everyone's going to suddenly turn up that you've invited. Try and get some responses back off people, because that's the worst thing is I've seen it happen before where people just send out last minute invitations and then you end up with a house half full of people and you're like, oh, I wish I'd invited those extra. So always over invite. You can never have enough people in a house.
Joe, what would be your dream event to plan?
Oh, I think it's probably your party. Definitely. No, I think, I mean, as I say...
bring my dad and my uncles round to sing and stuff. I think you go crazy.
No, I don't know, actually. I would say... I love doing anything overseas. It's a bit of a challenge.
It must be lovely to travel as well.
Yeah, and I keep thinking about whether I want to do anything like a birthday party for myself, but it's one of those things.
No,
I think
someone else has to do that for you.
Yeah, I think I do it for a living. You know, I prefer just, I think, having a kind of chilled meal or something for my birthday.
Right.
So.
And your future plans for the business, Joe?
Well, actually, we're rebranding from Green Ant Events, which is the name I sort of set the company up under, to Collection 26, which is merging the sort of wedding and events parts of our business pretty much over the next month. So that's really exciting for us.
Oh, wonderful.
I think the next sort of stage is just, you know, try to keep producing fantastic events and growing the business, really. And you know, I think that's
really inspiring. I'm really inspired by your story. I love the way you started off and that, you know, you did it on your own, and it's great what you've achieved. Brilliant. Well, you're going to stay with us because we're going to be trying. Isabella, how are we doing over there?
Very well. See, they were so quick. They're all done.
Yeah.
All
You were quick.
So,
lovely. So we're going to be coming over and trying stuff very shortly. But we're going to go to a quick break first, and then we're going to be talking to Shirin after.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Planning Your Perfect Celebration. And now we have with us Shirin, singer-songwriter, right?
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's lovely. Also, we've got our other guests here, of course, Isabella and Joe.
Cozying up now.
And that's all this lovely stuff on this table staring us in the face, which we're going to be trying shortly.
I'm excited.
So tell us about you, first of all, Shirin. When did you know you wanted to sing?
I was quite young. I was about, as I was saying just to you a moment ago, about 2 years of age.
you know, I was really influenced by the movie Annie, which my mum, bless her, had to sit through like 3 times a day, and I would sit there like, tomorrow, you know, jumping up and down on the sofa. My parents really encouraged music, come from a musical family, so it was always a part of my upbringing, and I was just really, really persistent that I wanted to be in the limelight, and I wanted people to see what I could do, and just kind of see the effect that it had on people, making them happy. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to bring light into people's lives.
Oh, and it obviously makes you happy when you see that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then growing up, did you have a lot of support to do your singing, or?
100%. Like, my parents are behind me all the way. They always have been. I was about 11 or 12, well, I'd been doing classical piano from the age of about 4 or 5, and then I said to my parents, I really, really want to sing. I want to have singing lessons, and they were like, are you sure? Is it not just a fad? Because, you know, when you're a child, you're kind of like, oh, I want to do ballet, I want to be a karate chopper.
I wanted to work in London Zoo.
So
now I'm here.
Yeah, well, there you go. So I said to them, and they were like, okay, well, you know, you have to pass your grade 3 piano, and then we'll see you get back getting some lessons. So I went for my first singing lesson when I was about 11, and I was just like, I love this, because for me it was very effortless, it was very natural. Everything else I had to try that little bit harder at. With this, it came very natural to me. So I just absolutely thrived on it, and my parents really supported me and helped and pushed. But in a very encouraging way, rather than a pushy parent way, like, come on, get up and perform kind of thing.
Oh, that's lovely. It's great to have that support.
Yeah, and then I've got 2 older sisters as well who are also extremely supportive. So.
And how are things going now at the moment?
Really, really well. I think the most important thing is the centre of everything that you do should be happiness. And like, I'm so happy with what I am doing, and the effect that I can have on people's lives through actually songwriting as well. And you know, it's just, for me, I've also got a creative team that you know, are with me today. Yeah,
I was going to say, I'm so supportive.
Yeah, I call them my because I have a nickname which is Shishi, and I call them the She Collective, because they just live me everywhere. So I absolutely adore them, and it's just lovely to see people who are so supportive and believe in the same thing that I do, and want to be there to be a part of it. But
did you encounter any difficulties though to get to where you are?
I think with any industry, you know, people always moan about the entertainment industry and the music business as being very, very tough to get into. I think it's having the right mentality about it. I got into the industry when I was 13, so I've had many years of being exposed to kind of good situations, bad situations. I mean, the worst thing that's kind of happened is obviously just kind of being taken for a ride, and you know, paying out a little bit of money to do something, and it never really goes the way you plan. But thankfully, I've been.
But if you're nodding, no, you've been.
I totally know what you're talking about.
We've done that.
Car parking ticket outside, taken for a ride, you know. But yeah, it's you know, with any industry that can happen, and I think it's having the right mental attitude. It's very similar to yourself, and I'm sure, you know, you having your family support what you do, but also just being really, really driven, and knowing that there's you know, nothing's going to get in the way. It doesn't matter if it's a guarantee that it's going to happen at the end of this year, or if it's going to be 5 years or 6 years, or however long it's going to take. As long as you are happy doing it, then it's.
This is the thing. This is what I see in all 3 of you. I can see a real passion for what you do, and I think sometimes that's what makes people unhappy, is that they're doing something that they don't really enjoy. Maybe they're afraid to go and do what they really want to do, or to kind of, they think, because in all your cases you had support, but maybe there's someone watching now, it's like, well, I don't have the support from my parents, I don't have the support from my friends, maybe I shouldn't do it. But even still, I think you should still do it, still go for it, because that's what's going to make you happy. When you're doing something that you absolutely love, and you wake up every morning like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the day, it's wonderful, isn't it? It's just fantastic.
And one of the best things you can do is actually, I mean, you know, even if you haven't got much support, actually one of the best driving forces is actually not having anything and wanting to prove something.
Yeah,
and I remember
exactly.
actually, even from a young age in school, you know, people always kind of were like, you know, Joe, you know, he's not really, I wasn't particularly academic, you know, I think my A levels have got 2 Ds and an E or something.
Really?
But
so you look into
that. Not that I'm, if I'd have done it all again, I think I probably would have worked harder. But, you know, there was kind of always a point to prove, and always sort of something saying, you know, that's actually, you know, no, I'm going to.
Yeah, so whether you have the support, whether you have the support or not, just go for it.
Well, I actually took a bit of a risk in the opposite direction, in that I was very academic, and I was working as a teacher, had a very stable job, and I wanted to give it all up to follow my passion, which was cooking, and everyone sort of said, you're mad, you know, what if it doesn't work out? And I went for it, and it happened, and so now I'm doing what I love. So
that's great. You can see all the smiles you see in the studio. Future plans for you, Shirin. What are you planning to do?
Well, I'm in the process at the moment of recording new material, so I'm actually taking a slightly different direction with my music as to what I've been doing up until now. I've always been in the sort of pop and R&B genre. I've grown up with Motown, so that's very natural for me. And then I ended up going to China, sort of beginning of, well, I was end of last year.
Yeah.
So I was there for 8 months. I worked with the Hard Rock Cafe, and I was a performer there with a band, and we were doing, you know, rock tunes from the 70s up till modern day, and it just totally took me by surprise how much I absolutely enjoyed the enthusiasm and the energy that's in that kind of a performance. And I just thought, you know what, this is where I need to be now. So I put myself into studio situations with people who do like heavy metal music, and it's just been an incredible learning curve for me, and it's just really enjoyable. So there's an EP that we're putting together, which should be ready by the end of this year. Hopefully beginning of next year, we're going to start touring that. You know, I love the UK, and that's a place that I really want my music to succeed. But I also, you know, I've spent my time in America, I've spent my time in Asia, and those are other territories that I'd like to sort of conquer. Yeah, while I'm at it.
So we recorded you earlier. We're going to listen to that in just what was it you actually sang?
The song that I sang is called "Make You Wanna Dance."
Okay.
So it's quite self-explanatory. You know, it's like, that's what I want to do. Make you want to dance.
All right, but just before we listen to that, shall we go and try some of your food, Isabella? Because, like, you know, I've been waiting for a long time. Okay, let's all walk around here. But it smells lovely. Okay, let's give you some spoons. What should we try first then? We don't need a spoon for anything for that, do we?
No, we've got finger foods.
So this is the dips that you made earlier.
Yeah, that's right. So I've done half on some
Can we see those on
bellinis, and
screen?
we've got some
Fantastic,
with a little dip as well. So
there you
thank you
go.
very much.
nice and healthy too.
I can't eat them.
Okay.
Magic.
I'm going to have one.
I'm going to have some
instead.
dip.
There you go.
Okay.
Really good.
Nice. Let's try this.
Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
Delicious. That dip's lovely,
So
isn't
now
it?
we just need to have a Chrissy B party.
Well, we're having
You
one
know,
now.
we're having one.
That's lovely. I don't know if we've got time to try the little desserts. Not little desserts, massive desserts over there.
Yeah. Have we got time?
Yeah.
Not find time.
Okay. This is lovely.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Very simple to make.
Yeah,
Wow.
very simple, very quick. As
Again,
you
guys,
saw,
I'm still finishing this one.
Yeah.
Well, a whole
I
one
got
of
a
these
little
is
bit
going
of
to go down
cherry
so
as
well.
You know what?
You know,
The
when you said the
cameraman,
sweet
like,
tea thing.
our cameraman over there has been sort of
He ticks all
moaning
the
that he wants to
boxes.
try something. I'll save some for you, okay? All right, he's yeah. I'll put this over here because I need to try one.
You need to try one of these.
Okay. All right, we're just going to go to the video now, guys. Thank you so much. It was great. I really love what you're all doing and that you're all happy doing that. And I'm sure we've encouraged our viewers tonight as well to go for their dreams and to go for what they want. Thank you very much. So we're going to see you in action now.
Thank you.
And where's my camera? Okay, and we'll see you again next time on the Chrissy B Show. Bye bye for now.
Make you wanna dance. I'm a cool girl. I play the music real loud, like a typical girl. I like the beats real hard, like the typical girl. I like my bass real low, like a typical girl. I twinkle, twinkle like a star. Hey you, standing there, what you waiting for? I'm like, hey, where's the fire you're smoking cold? You wanna go, but you feel it, it's in the air. Just listen what I gotta say. Boys and girls all around the world, let me see you move, the beat is calling you. When the music plays, you don't stand a chance. I know, I make you wanna dance, 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 dance. Boys and girls all around the world, let me see you move, the beat is calling you. When the music plays, you don't stand a chance. I know, I make you wanna dance, 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 dance. Not your typical rhyme, no A-B, baby. Not your typical girl, no favors, but I party. Oh, typical girl, I'm done before you started. In a typical world, I twinkle, twinkle like a star. Hey you, standing there, what you waiting for? I'm like, hey, where's the fire you're smoking cold? You wanna go, but you feel it, it's in the air. Just listen what I gotta say. Boys and girls all around the world, let me see you move, the beat is calling you. When the music plays, you don't stand a dance, 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 dance.